Well, here we are again, another Thursday, another webinar, and Dave and I are here to present some good information to those that are in attendance. If you're not in attendance, and I wanted to start on this page, on the back end of your control center, there's a View Weekly Website Tutorials link. And if you click on that, you're taken to our page where if you missed any past webinars or today's, we post them all on this page for you to view. So you're not going to have any, you're not going to be missing out on anything. They're all listed here. I want to make sure to let you folks know on that as well.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for people to show up here, and we have a few. I'm just kind of watching to see what familiar names I see and looking for any of the Florida or Southern crowd because Trish, the weather lady, and I were just talking about the weather. It feels like we're in Florida today, and maybe weather person. Maybe that's the more correct way of saying it. Not that
Either
you're not.
way.
So I'm saying that with truth, though, too. It's just some kind of bonus trivia about Trish. Is Trish actually is an officially trained weather person? Did I capture that correctly?
More or less, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did get my degree in meteorology, but didn't pan out as I wanted. But I still am an armchair meteorologist, and I'll chase as I can. And my house is full of all my pictures, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm really pulling our camper out this afternoon for my son's birthday party, too. So we're hoping for good weather. So anything you can do to coach that along, we'll take that. So, well, I think we've got our crowd here. So, Trish, let's go ahead. What do we got on deck for today?
Yep. So starting from your control center, what I had talked about was in the website builder, or what we talked about last week was in the website builder. So if I click on this upper left tab, I had gone over the basics. What we're going to cover today is what's called featured pages. So if you missed last week's again, back in the control center, View Weekly Website Tutorial takes you to this page. And last week, this is going to talk about the basics here. What we're going to talk about today is called the featured pages. And a quick note, and I want to get back to here. So there's featured pages tab under web pages in the control center. This is 100% of all the featured pages that we provide. The basic or the featured pages in the website builder is about 40% of the featured pages. So again, you don't have to duplicate what's here in the control center, but if you want to have any of these turned on, we definitely encourage you to go in here and or in the control center, but we encourage you need to make these specific to you, your company, how you do business. So that's what we're going to go through are these featured pages today.
And just as a reminder, and just to kind of play off the theme that we had last week too, is if you are an existing subscriber, chances are pretty good that you really don't have to come back here ever if you don't want to, because just what Trish showed, all of those featured pages, the full list of featured pages are in the control center. But it does make sense every so often to drift back into that website builder and just maybe do a quick review of everything that's there. And the reason that we have these featured pages here, this smaller set in the website builder, is because if you choose to use these featured pages, they do need to be customized to tell your story. And so we do want to draw attention to those. And that's why as an existing subscriber, it might make sense for you to come back and just take a fresh look at that.
All right. So let's dive in here. And the first one here is the who is. Now, most of my featured pages I haven't done too much with, which might be a good thing for today. But I did update a little bit with the who is. This is about your business, your company. You know, do you want your title to be who is or about us or our company? You can decide. You can put your print shop name here, however long, or it's limited to 14 characters here. But I do know that if you go in the control center, you happen to have a longer one, it will fit. I don't see too many that are past that, but of course, if you have questions on this, just let us know. The subheading, you can put in what your subheading is, and I might mention there's a nice little question mark pop-up bubble next to each of these if you have a question or why would I put what I want in here? What should I put in here? You know, there's a little bit that tells you why it's there and where it's found. Founding info and date, I just changed it to the year of my birth and where I'm from, and there we go. And then this company overview, it's kind of default. I don't believe I've changed that, and that's fine, but we encourage you to change that beyond what we have provided for you. What is your company? What do you do? What is your value and mission if you want to put that in there? And then the products that you offer, again, you can be as descriptive as you need or as little, just depends on. And then if you want to have more information about the owner, your name, your email can go in there. And if you want to have a little like, if you have a website or what have you that you want to share with your users of your website, maybe a local chamber of commerce, a Better Business Bureau, something of that nature, feel free to add in a website and the name in here as well.
There's one thing on this page that really catches my attention, and that is that as the older I get, the more people I find whose birth date is a lot closer to the high school graduation date. We're getting closer and closer in that, so there's just scared me on that one.
All right, pretend I didn't say what I said, but in any case, feel free again to put in as much or as little as you want about each of these boxes here. And then if you save and continue, the system will automatically take you to the next tab, which is testimonials. This is where you would go in and add a testimonial, whether somebody might call you, if they email you, if they have an image for their company or maybe that particular person. So what I'm going to do is act like I'm going to add a testimonial, and you can grab an image that's on your computer, wherever that might be. I kind of changed my logo to have like a dual logo here, dual print shops. Again, if you want to fill in the name, if you want to fill in the company, maybe you just want a company, not a name. If you'd like to provide the URL for that person or company, position, again, you fill in as much or as little as you want here, but this allows you to add testimonials to give credibility to those that come to your website. You're providing the service that you said you would. You probably went above and beyond. Be sure to capture those positive comments that you're receiving from your users, from your print buyers. And then when you add testimonial, it'll go to the very top of the list here.
So a reminder too, that's so important for all the reasons you mentioned, just to build that goodwill between real live people. But the search engines like this too, and you get those links going out back and forth. Each one of these things has a purpose. Sometimes that purpose is going to be more geared towards search engines. Sometimes it'll be more geared towards people. Oftentimes it will serve both audiences here. So it's a really good idea if you have those testimonials that you can add to the website. Get them in there. That's just good all the way around. It's just one of the best ways to really make your website yours.
And here's an example. I just added a third one and it shows up at the very top. And I thought while I was here, let me make sure that my testimonials are turned on and I can show you what that looks like when a viewer is going to look for testimonials. So I have quite a bit of items down here. So I might need to add it, and let me add that just to show you what that looks like we'll add it under About Us. And we're going to turn on, I don't want to take up too much time. Testimonials is on under the About Us. So let's go to the bottom and see if that's under there. And it might be at the top. There it is. I'm under the wrong tab, the About Us. So here's the one I just added as a test about weather, but as you can see, here's those previous two that were there. So when your customers go to your testimonials page, the most recent one that you have added will show up at the top naturally. So I just want to show you kind of how that would look. Of course, the more that's filled in, the more that would show up here.
It's probably obvious, but just in case it isn't, and it is worth mentioning too, that if you make a change on the testimonials in the website builder, that change carries through the control center and vice versa. And of course, all of those changes, of course, ultimately end up on that page as it's published.
And here's, just like Dave said, in the control center under web pages, featured pages for testimonials, here is that third one that I'd added in the website builder, shows up right here, so you do not have to duplicate your efforts. So going back to the website builder under featured pages, let's save and continue. And we're going to be taken to the portfolio. This is a nice little page that I don't see this used as often, but I encourage you to, that you can show samples of your printed work, whether it's, I've seen vertical banners, retractable banners, you have flyers, you have beautiful invitations maybe you print out. Feel free to add in an image, your images, and showcase your work to the world. Now, I haven't have anything here, but we definitely encourage you that if you want to show off to your print buyers and those that visit your website the work that you do and that you produce, feel free to use the portfolio. as much or as little as that you want. There's also a little bit of text that shows up on the bottom as well.
And
And
so
so,
a little bit beyond the scope of today's webinar, maybe that's something we can address in a future one, but that wood grain background, that's just kind of the default starting points that we've got for you there. So yeah, do not hesitate to grab that. The default images are in there based on that background. And if you want to match that, you can. And you can always, of course, just use the existing images too, but to really truly make it yours, get your images in there.
that's a good point. So thank you for mentioning that. So use this as much or as little as that you would like. The president's letter, just what it says, it's a letter from the president or maybe the main honcho at your company there. But this is our default. I don't believe I changed it. It does say my print shop name, so it'll probably say your print shop name. We encourage you, if you are going to use this page, to format it to what you want to tell for your story from the president or the head person there at your company. Feel free to add a photo if you would like. Again, you don't have to fill all this in. I happen to have my phone number in here. If you want to add an after hours phone number, you may. But again, this is available for you to customize how you would like. If I select save and continue, I'm going on to company history. And it mentions up here, it's a good way to build that credibility for your print shop. Your customers will hopefully feel that, yep, this is someone I can trust, I can rely on them and so forth. So this is our default about our prior Express Press company opening in Fargo. Definitely feel free to take this and delete it or at least change it to meet your company history and what has gone on through the years with your company. Again, it's just kind of here for you to see and how it could be, put out there. But we encourage you to definitely change this up so it doesn't say Express Press or the year, but it's there for you as an example. And if we click on View a Sample, again, what I was just showing in the website builder, this is what it looks like on one of our demo websites, the company history.
Yeah, Trish, you're using the word encourage. I would even go a little bit further, and we're going to require you to change that.
Yeah, definitely. We should require you to. But
and the reason I'm saying it that way is just for any of our prospects that might be watching. As your subscribers, this isn't so much relevant to you. You're already past this part. But for our prospects that might be watching this, we are going to do that check for you to make sure that all of these pages that must be changed are indeed changed or unavailable, perhaps, if that's more appropriate, before the website goes live. But this is one of those markers that we'll put on there and make sure that you're doing it right.
all right, good point, Dave. Thank you. Saving and continuing on, we're coming to the mission. This says a lot about your company, helps build trust with your customers and maybe future customers, prospects. Feel free to change out the default photo, subheading and caption, and then, as most of these, the body text. You can change as much or as little that you would like if you'd like this page to be used on your website. And then if I click a view our sample, I'm certain that's going to take us to that same demo site, but this is our mission and what it looks like. And if these are related to the images for the president's letter in this We Local, We Care, and we might touch on that today. Otherwise, it is in the control center if some of these pages aren't in the website builder. But this is kind of what it looks like if they were to go to your website and you have that turned on. All right, next one, let's save and continue so we can see how this works. And automatically goes to We Make You Happy. Again, fill in as much or as little that you would like. The photo right now is that glass half empty or half full, but we encourage you to change that out if you would like. The subheading and the body text as well is available for you to edit as you see needed. And save and continue. The We're Local, We Care. Very similar as some other pages. We have a default photo that you can change out and some default text in the body text. But this is kind of a different angle from a printer's perspective, differentiate you from other print shops or other businesses that are in that area. So feel free to use this to, your liking and your need as far as the angle of We're Local and that you care about your customers and those that do business on your website. The next one here is called the guarantee, and I know Dave has a little bit more, but I'll just mention that if you want to use a different photo than we provide, you can, and everything else definitely is customizable.
Yeah, the only part I wanted to add is just the it really is a very strong guarantee. You can just see it by that subheading, 100% money back guarantee. And even the caption, everything we print is fully guaranteed. If you are not satisfied, whatever the reason, return it to us for a reprint, a credit, or a refund. So it is a very, very, very strong guarantee. And that can make some people nervous sometimes. So there's two approaches to that. I would say change the words on the guarantee so that it doesn't make you nervous, or change your processes and your approach so that you don't have to be nervous about 100% money back guarantee. That kind of rewinds back into the Express Press history that you'd mentioned there too. I participated in that exact guarantee firsthand. It's powerful. So I would encourage you, if you're not already able to make a strong guarantee like that, just maybe have a few introspective moments and look at your processes and at your business to make sure that you can actually support a strong guarantee like that.
Thank you, Dave, for reiterating that. All right, we're going to save and continue. And the next one is the environment. You know, you're using paper, you're doing a lot of digital at the same time, but go ahead and put your story out there on how you might be helping out the environment. It mentions up here a little bit about what's going on. You know, we know there's a lot of recycled paper, different inks and so forth. Again, feel free to switch this up if you use it to as much or as little as you would like beyond our default text.
And please be careful, because remember, paper doesn't grow on trees. Wait a minute, pull my tongue out of my cheek now.
All right. Then the last one we have is security and privacy. And not to sound like a broken record, but if you want to change that padlock image to something else that reflects maybe your security and privacy, please do so. And then the subheading and especially the body text, very important to read this over and make sure if it needs to be edited, if you need to add something that you feel is necessary to communicate to your print buyers, please do when we're mentioning privacy, confidentiality, the security. It's very important that you look this over as well before you make sure you use this page.
This is another one where I wanted to kind of spend a few extra bonus minutes on this one. This page actually became very real in the last week or so. In one of the conversations that we had with one of our subscribers. And it's really a good reminder. It really helps reinforce why we're doing this, is to remind you that there are pages here that you can use. And in that particular printer's case, his scenario, his situation, just starting to get going with, well, actually, they already have been going with e-commerce and everything related to that. But one of his customers was really had some really tight security requirements and wanted to know that it was this and this and this and this, and that they were fulfilling all that. And long story short, that printer said, "Can you just help us out? Can you give us some reassurance that that the information is, you know, that we've got security and all that in place?" And so of course we did, and we just, long story short, just said, "Okay, go ahead and turn that page on." They didn't know that that page was there. So if you're at a stage where you're getting a little bit more serious about e-commerce, really should have this page on, and it works as it is. It does support everything that happens on the website, but as Trish, what you were saying, you can certainly add to it, change it any way you want, but the page really does work as it is, as a security page. The other thing that I'll say is another subscriber also just getting started with e-commerce. His merchant account underwriter, they're following their rules, their checklists. They said, you got to have security and privacy statement on your page. You got to have this, you got to have that. Same thing, really almost the exact same story. Bottom line is, you go to this page, you turn it on. In the control center, you turn it on. Here's the place where you can have that quick view to edit it. But you get that page turned on and you're good to go. That fulfills the requirements of your customers and of your underwriters if you're getting going with e-commerce suite. So that is one of the pages that I did want to spend personally a little more time, just because of those very real experiences that happened just in the last few weeks.
And to add to that, just to show you in the control center under web pages, featured pages, again, security and privacy is about halfway down. If you're going to use that, there's your on and off, but like Dave said, if you're going to use that, make sure if you need to change it, read it over at least before you turn that on. So with that, if we go back to the website builder, we have now covered the basics last week. Today we covered what's available under featured pages. And then if we select, if we go to security and privacy, if we select save and continue, we're taken to the next page where you can either view your website from here, or if you want to go right to the control center. So I'm going to say launch the control center, and you get a nice little overview of what the main pages are talking about and what they reflect up here, these main tabs. And then you decide where you want to go from here.
We did
So
it, Trish. We packed it into a nice 20-minute time frame, and
we
if we quit
managed.
now, we won't even go beyond it. So I think we're in good shape here.
I think so too.
But it's really important stuff. So it might just be worth taking that quick return back to the website builder just to make sure that everything is appropriate on your website.
All
We
right.
had one last task for you. Trish, I'll have you wrap us up in a second, but I just also want to remind everybody that if you give us just 5 more seconds of your time when we wrap this up, that's all that's needed for you to participate in the follow-up survey. Give us a rating, tell us how we're doing, tell us more what's important to you. 5 seconds is all we need. You can take more time if you wish, but that's all I've got. Trish, anything else to wrap us up?
I think we did it again, like you said, and without further ado, we're gonna call it a day, and we'll see folks back next Thursday. So stay cool out there. Take care.